Good morning, everyone. Greetings to all the participants. I again welcome you today on state level webinar of climate change, a Brink concern for Mizoram, Day 2, organized by Department of Geography, Government Champhai College. My name is Mizoram Changte and I will be your host for today's session. Today we'll be having two resource persons, Mizoram and Moi, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Government Champhai College, and Dr. Larin Puyavangsia, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Government Champhai College. Before we invite our resource person, I'd like to state a brief introduction about her. Ms. Ramengoi started her teaching career at Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, ICFA University, and currently teach at Government Shangbana College. She is currently research scholar of Mizoram University. She published 8 research papers, played role of rapporteur, and presented her research output in reputed institutions like IIT and various international and national seminars. She is a member of professional bodies like the Association of Geographical Studies, AGS, Delhi, and Geography of Association of Mizoram, Mizoram. She completed her master's degree from Mizoram University and qualified teaching eligibility tests such as MTET, CTET, and NET. Her specialization is physical geography. Okay, let's invite Ms. Ram and Moi to present climate smart agriculture. Miss Ram and Moi. Miss, are you there? Okay. Here is she. Okay, Miss, take your time.
Okay, so now can I start? Because I just joined it. My network has been crapped because of power failure. So you can tell me when to start, Miss. Am I audible to you?
Okay, Miss, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Please take your time.
So see, now I can start. So you can tell me when to start, okay?
Yeah, you can.
I can start, right? You are mute.
Main host. You can start now.
Okay. Then thank you so much, our warm host, for your enlightening welcome. And I would like to convey my huge respect to the inaugurator of this webinar, our Honorable Minister, TJ Lanuntluanga. And I would like to congratulate our respected principal, Mr. Pil Mingliana, for making numerous academic sessions successful. And I am thankful to the conveners, our L. Kumavarte, HOD, and coordinator Sarmatswana. Even though I haven't met them in person, I am moved by their active contribution to the academic circles and for all the Mizo geographers. And lastly, the organizing secretary, Sarma Rema, I am deeply grateful for you and to you for sharing me this virtual dais. So I will start the screen share. So I hope I am audible. So if there is any fluctuation regarding the sound and all, you can just tell me instantly, okay? So I hope my slides are visible. Are visible. Is visible?
Yes, Miss, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay, then thank you so much. So let me put on full screen. So good morning, one and all, dear participants and all the dignitaries. So today my talk will be on the topic of climate smart agriculture. So my name is Romeng Moi and I'm coming from Government Shangbana College. So my talk will be divided into nine section, and this typically is going to be a kind of narrative of different parts of India so that extract what things we need to take as in the case of Mizoram context. So coming to my introduction, a growing population and changing diets are driving up the demands for food. So the nation is struggling to keep up as crop yields level off in many parts of the world. So as in the case of this, ocean health declines and even natural resources from different parts of the world, including soils, water, and biodiversity. So they are stretched dangerously, as we can see from the picture in the slides. So a 2020 report of AO states that nearly 690 million population, or 8.9% of the global population, are hungry, and this has stated that 60 million will be upgraded in 5 years. So the food security challenges will only become more difficult, as in the case of the world demographic scenario. So as the world will need to produce around more than 70% of the food by 2020 to feed an estimated 9 billion population. So we need to start up and we need to take initiative in terms of higher value production in agriculture. So the challenges is intensified by agricultural extreme vulnerability to climate change, and these climate change negative impacts are already feeling, and in the form of increasing temperatures, weather variability, shifting agro ecosystem boundaries, invasive crops and pests. So sustainable investment is required in this case because farmers face many problems due to climate change, and our world also face difficulties because of the agriculture induced. So I'm going to take into consideration of the two tier studies. So see, as we can see from these slides, the problem works also in reverse, as I have mentioned just now. So it also enhance, see, agriculture product also enhance the population feeding, but in the meantime it also create problem to the environment as well. So here we can see that it currently generates 19 to 29% of total greenhouse gases emission. So here additionally it means that 1 by food produced globally is either lost or wasted. So addressing this one is, like a quick call to the environmentalists and for the whole academic scenario. So coming to this greenhouse gas emission, see, this data has been acquired from agriculture and land use national greenhouse gas inventory software, which is based on IPCC guidelines for national greenhouse gases inventory. So here we can see that field crops resulted in the total emission. biggest contributors, this is 30% acquainted by okay, let me start the screen again. I am using mobile data, so I'm so sorry for the inconveniences. There are, power fluctuation here in my area. So I'll go back to my such as urea and incorporation of crop residue to the soil results in carbon dioxide emission. So greenhouse gases emanating from the application of synthetic fertilizers like lime and crop residue also has huge impact in the emission of greenhouse gases. So so the other table which I pointed on my cursor, let me put on full screen again. So I would like to inform all the participants that if you want to see clearly about the facts and figures, you can just zoom from your phone, and or else if you use a touchscreen laptop, you can just tap it and zoom, just like the image we zoom in WhatsApp. So you can just zoom out my data and all. So let's continue. These results shows that greenhouse gases per area, I don't know why my slides is moving. Okay, per area has the optimum application of synthetic fertilizers residue. So coming to the types of crops that emits heat a lot. So here we have maize, wheat, sugarcane, and tomato. It has huge emission of greenhouse gases which are planted from the production of tomatoes. So these are the biggest contributors which we have found from crop cultivation, even in Aizol. So this is the population trend of the world. In 1960, the whole population of globe account for 3 billion, and it doubles in 1999, and in 2014 the world population reached 7.2 billion, and it is projected to be more than 9 billion in 2050. So food security needs to be taken into consideration. So in the meantime, we are facing problems like natural resources diminishing rate, and ecosystem are also like in the decreasing trend. So in total, we have experienced global warming as well as the climate changing. So going to the climate change, see, I will not go in detail about the basics of climate change because yesterday we have heard a lot about it, so I will not go into detail. But one thing I would like to highlight is that we need to tackle global warming and climate a lot. So applications of softwares or applications of manure and natural and man-made things are required for this. So coming to our topic, climate smart agriculture. So first, climate smart agriculture helps to guide actions needed to transform. So it helps needed to transform the reorient agriculture system to effectively support the transformation. CSA aims to tackle three main objectives like sustainable increasing and productivity and incomes. So CSA is an approach for developing agriculture strategies to, okay, excuse me, the audience. Now my power has come, so let me switch my connection to Wi-Fi.
Okay, while Miss switch her internet connection, all the participants, please listen it carefully, and after her presentation, there will be a time for asking questions. So I'd like to say that. So please be ready to ask questions after her presentation.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So now I hope I can restart again. Power has come. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience and line cut. So coming to climate change, am I still audible, please? Can you tell me?
Yes, Miss. But your screen is not visible.
So is it visible now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So coming to the climate change again, see here, as we know that climate change is already imperiling the livelihood of farmers around the globe by exaggerating the drought, heat waves, and floods and other extreme weather events, as well as creating influx of new pests and diseases worldwide. And we have experienced 5 million smallholder farms produce for 80% of the food consumed in Asia and in sub-Saharan Africa. And it provides livelihood for more than 2 billion population. So in arid and semi-arid region of the world, like in the Middle East and all, okay, most food insecure people like dryland agriculture is particularly vulnerable to drought. So unless their usual emission trends are altered, additional warming will increasingly devastate these vulnerable agricultural communities. So it is very simple and logic concept that food and water security and energy access already facing developing countries. Hence, developing countries also want to address change through the development framework. So we often have a problem with developing countries. So there is an urgent need for strategies that provide a triple win solution simultaneously. So let's go to the next slides. It's my cursor. So coming to the history of CSA, here we can see that the term generally developed back in 2009, and the first global conference on food security, agriculture and climate change has been held way back in 2010, just after the development of the term. So, and the second global conference was held at Vietnam in 2012, and the third as well in South Africa. So there have been climate smart agriculture in the global scenario, so 3 times like that. So coming to the real concept of CSA, firstly, an integrated approach to developing technical policy and investment conditions are an important integrating approach. And also, what is also a new thing is the fact that the multiple challenges faced by agriculture and food systems are addressed simultaneously and holistically, which in turn helps avoid the policies and legislation for financing. So secondly, we have the CSA brings together practices, policies, and investment conditions that are not necessarily new but are used in the context of climate change, which are unfamiliar to the farmers. And it also integrates the 3 dimensions of sustainable development, like economic, as we have already mentioned in the introductory part, social and environmental, by jointly addressing food security and the climate changes. So these are the CSA concepts. So it is very simple and easy to operate in the mechanized and in the non-mechanized farm. So coming to the next slides. Okay, so these are the objectives of CSA. Generally, these objectives can be shortened by sustainability, more productivity, climate resilience, as well as the climate change reduction. So these are the 3 main simple objectives of the climate smart agriculture. So if these 3 goals are fulfilled successfully, we hope that carbon will be synced through the increasing production from farm outputs. So going to the overview of climate smart agriculture here, there are different types of climate overview, but here I have selected two overview, which are also known as the characteristics of the climate smart agriculture. So firstly, climate smart agriculture address the complex interrelated to the challenges of food security, development, and climate change, and identifies integrated options to create synergies and to reduce the trade-offs. And secondly, this climate smart agriculture recognizes that these options will be shaped by specific country contexts and capacities, as well as socio-economic and environmental situations. So this is also a subset of the previous points. So thirdly, this climate smart agriculture assess the interaction between different sectors of the economy, like agriculture and its allied. It may be livestock, it may be crop production, and also it address to the needs of different stakeholders. So on the 4th point here, we have seen very important points for developing countries like India, because in India, every after 5 years, we are adopting new strategies, policies, and actions, and different types of incentives by different types of new government whenever we are adopting. So this climate smart agriculture identifies barriers for mere adoption, especially for the farmers, and it provides appropriate solutions in terms of different types of policies and to apply their strategies, actions, and incentives in a coherent way. So let's move on to the next characteristics. So here we can have another very, very important, which are related to the policies again, but these are based on the institutions. So here, climate smart agriculture seek to create enabling environments through a better alignment. So see, if an area, as in the case of my research way back in 2017, in Madhuwater, I have went there, and the main problem is that there are too much policies, and they don't have proper time to fulfill one, because the new one came before the completion of the previous policies. So these problems is very relevant, as in the case of the developing countries, especially in tribal areas like Mizoram. So This CSA seeks to create enabling environment through a better alignment. So it joins together different policies and investment through different types of government institutions, or either non-governmental, or even the layman institutions, which they known as which they often call as the farmers union. So secondly, this climate smart agriculture strive to achieve multiple objectives with the understanding that priorities need to be set on the collective decision. Because see, dwelling on a democratic country, we also needs to have very good and effective collective decision, which are not decisive at all, which will make a different perspective on development, and which will make benefits and further trades of our agriculture product. So, and next point, we need to prioritize the strengthening of livelihoods, especially those of the small farmers, by improving access to different types of services, knowledge, and resources, including the genetic resources. And here, one of the most important thing that I would like to mention is that financial products and markets are one of the foremost important, which most of the farmers are unaware, as in the case of Mizoram and in different parts of the rural areas across the world. So CSN needs to address to adaptation and builds resilience to shocks, and especially those related to the climate change, as we know that there are also numerous insurance company to take care of such. So coming to the next point, these are the characteristic of the climate smart agriculture. So here we have to consider climate change mitigation as a potential secondary co-benefits, especially in the low-income agriculture-based population like India. Okay, and the last characteristics of the climate smart agriculture is that it seeks to identify opportunities to access any types of climate-related financing and integrated it with traditional sources of agriculture investment finance. Here, I would also like to mention that when talking about the context of agriculture and its allied activities, so livestock is also one of the most important agriculture activities in India. So going to the approaches of climate smart agriculture. So here I have made a very beautiful diagram to show smart agriculture in just one vase. So here we can see that climate smart agriculture contributes to the achievement of this orange ball. I hope you can see it. This is the Sustainable Development Goals. So this CSA works with SDGs, okay, which are popularly known as Sustainable Development Goals, through the development of economic, social, and environment. And this green economy, which has been denoted by green wall, shows that we need green economy for resource efficiency and to attain the status of resilience. So, and the blue ball signifies the focuses on availability of dimensions for food security, like it should covers the accessibility, utilization, and stability. So these three are the key components and the approaches to study and the approaches to keep practically active to the efficacy and resilience of the climate smart agriculture. So let's move on to the next slide. So here, we should know that when we talk about climate smart agriculture, it doesn't always signifies about the hi-fi technology, okay? But it just harmonize and synchronize the practices and policies, and it also avoid different types of policies coming together at one pace. So it is very important to avoid contradictory and conflicting policies by internally managing the trade and synergies take up by different government that come up within a short span of time. So these approaches also needs to guide the change of agriculture system to address the food scarcity and food security, which in turn leads to the climate change. So these are very three important points that I want all of the participants to understand. Okay, because see, when we talk about smart, we often think about very hi-fi types of technology and all, but when it comes to climate smart agriculture, it means say to utilize our existing resources in a coherent and very wise way. So in India, we are very, very fortunate that different types of supporting institutions are there and around the globe. See, globally, we have International Food Policy Research Institute. So these international supporting institutes are having subsets in different parts of the country, including India. So we are fortunate enough that there are supporting institutions who will take up the climate smart agriculture. So let's mention some of them. So here we have the World Bank, which take care of the resiliency, and we have climate change, agriculture, and food security. And likewise, we're having World Food Program and UNEP and FAO. Okay, and then most of the information that we get from different countries have been published by FAO. So going to the approaches, see, CSA is a multidisciplinary approach, and talking about this, we can study it in different ways. So here we can study through landscape management, water management, soil management, as well as energy management. So one thing that I would like to highlight is that, see, in hilly areas, we may need water management and soil management that is easily feasible. But in plains and all, they might, like have abundant control of energy. So energy management may be easier for them to follow up. So see, these type of approaches are brought up by the propaganda of climate smart agriculture. So we can follow any of them based on our terrain. So coming to the coordination across agriculture sector, typically we can divide it into 5, but I have highlighted into 4 major. So coming to the crops, when we are trying to make crop management in a climate resilience way, we need to adopt a kind of intercropping to maximize different type of space and pest control and cash crops. So I would like to give example like this. Okay, see, in Mizoram, we have experienced plantation crops maybe around 5 years back or around 5 to 10 years back. So generally, when the government initiated or propagate different types of plantation crops to the farmers, they used to tell them how much space needs to be, kept within each crop. So that is very important for proper growth and pest control also. So, and under this crop management, we have new crop varieties like, which are more susceptible to the, like wind, drought, and in plain areas, it may also be flood tolerant. And this CSA initiative requires improved storage and processing techniques, which are a kind of, upgradable terms. And it also needs the underground crops like stake plants to reduce wind damage. And composing and organic fertilizers are also very important. Here, I am talking about organic fertilizers, okay, not about the synthetic fiber fertilizers. So mulching and shade house also plays an important role in finalizing the crop management. So coming to the livestock portion here, so CSA initiated improved feeding strategies like, for example, we have adopted the cut and carry method in Mizoram, and also to adopt the rotational grazings like to grow suitable crops with proper management, and to feed animals, okay, to feed animals, just like that, the previous traditional nomadic farming. So thirdly, we have manual treatment and to improve livestock health. So it is very important, and sometimes, according to my opinion, I don't know what's yours, but according to my opinion, livestock is more profitable in spite of their epidemics and all. So animal husbandry improvement is one of the core standpoint of climate smart agriculture. So next, here we have soil and water. Conservation of agriculture has given a new page to soil and water management. So we can use minimum tillage. So in hilly areas, we are using contour planting. So use mounds to plants on slopes also. So we can use this grass barrier, which I have seen at mud water set at Serchip also. And I have seen it in different patches of WRC, okay, with rice cultivation across the state in Mizoram. So we also often use stone barriers, and in plain area, they are using check dams to control soil and water, and they sometimes use eyebrow terraces to plant on slopes, and also pellets, bamboos whenever it's possible. So water storage and rainwater harvesting is very, very important and very crucial for rain-fed agriculture like Mizoram. And lastly, we have agroforestry. So when we talk about agroforestry, it is a combination of agriculture and forestry in which boundary trees and windbreaks are initiated. So we need to plant nitrogen fixing trees on farms. So according to the initiative of the climate smart agriculture, nitrogen fixing trees on farms are very, very crucial for this. And multi-purpose trees like fruit trees are also used in windbreaker and even fruit orchards. So apart from this, I have one very important thing to highlight apart from this four coordination, that is integrated food energy system. So when we talk about integrated food energy system, it refers to the formulation and production of biogas, which we can harness even from human and even from the livestock. So in order to improve the stuff consumption, and we can also harness solar power and ram pumps for irrigation, and also the adoption of gravity fed irrigation system are also a very important thing in the formulation of this climate smart agriculture into action. So coming to the roles of institutions, when we talk about institutions here, it refers to three main things like financial, government supports, and the research centers, including colleges and universities. So let's dive deeper into these points. So the first point is producing and sharing technical knowledge. So under this, there are institutions that provide and share information, like I have already mentioned the international institution in the previous slides, that help people translate the information into knowledge. So circulation of knowledge is very important, as we know that since time immemorial, knowledge is a driving force of innovation. So secondly, we have providing financial services. So here it talks mainly about the credit management and access to markets. So these institutions are generally organizations. It may be government or non-government banks. It may be commercial banks as well. So this institutional arrangement should provide a kind of credit to the farmer so that they could practice climate smart agriculture. So under this, we have credit, and we have insurance, we have crop insurance, even like pig insurance also are there under the livestock, and cattle insurance are also there, and social safety nets needs to be conserved, and payments of rewards for environmental services are a crucial role of institution. So next, here we have supporting the coordination of collaborative action. So see, human beings are cooperative in nature. So we also need this institutional arrangement to facilitate the coordination across organizations and different types of sectors. So we need to work together in a society, and through a bank, through network, and through interpersonal, through intergovernmental. So these networks have played a role of knowledge sharing platforms and credit sharing platforms. So it is very important, as in the case of developing countries especially. So coming to the next slides, services to farmers. So this is one of the practical things that we need to know. So in Tamil Nadu, they already practice these types of weather forecasts and investigation of the leaf color chart. So under this weather information, we have current weather forecast and seasonal forecast and long-term climate trends. These things they just can harness and they just can get from their own smartphone if smartphone are accessible to them. So, and another available options that they have are a kind of handheld smart technologies. Okay, handheld. And one thing I would like to highlight is that in nitrogen fixation area of Tamil Nadu, they are government are distributing so much smart technologies which really help the layman or the farmers, to measure how much carbon emission do they emit in their own particular field. So that is a very interesting thing that I really wish that we could have in Mizoram as well. And then let's move on to the objectives of various farmers to gather the needs of the CSA. So here, CSA typically means integrating different types of things. So, to put together into a meaningful, sustainable way to adopt resilience. So it tries to make agriculture more productive and to be more sustainable and more remunerative and climate resilience as usual, and also to develop comprehensive soil health management practices based on soil fertility status. So it is one of the most interesting thing that needs to be cooperated in the farm. So it also tries to optimize utilization of water resources through efficient water management, and also it tries to conserve on farm resources through appropriate resource conservation technologies. So in the absence of technologies, we can just have a kind of organic and as well as a kind of traditional way of conservation. So it is still practical as in the case of Mizoram as well. So in order to develop the capacity of farmers and stakeholders in the domain of climate change, so we need adaptation and mitigation measures here again. And we also need to pilot models like input dealers, research organizations, as I have mentioned in these slides. So this all needs to be cooperated in order to mainstreaming some technologies and leveraging different types of resources. So it also tries to establish an effective inner and intra-departmental as well as the ministerial coordination of accomplishing key deliverable. So here educational institutions and even extension organizations play a key role for farmers community-based organizations. So it is very important. So let's keep in mind this one, because sometimes we used to do things separately. So even though our goals are same, if the way of doing or the strategy are different, so it leads us to different types of result and dissected results. So going to the case of India, going to the case of India, see, India is a kind of very advanced sometimes, okay, a kind of very advanced in terms of agriculture, formulation of policies and all. But we should know that India as an agrarian country, we have faced many challenges to control poverty through development, and it is also a pathway that enhances the nations through the estimation of 350 million tons per year. So India's agriculture sector has emitted greenhouse gases for 350 million tons. So that is a huge figure. So let's try to keep in percentile. So we should know that among 100% of the greenhouse gases emission in our country, 18% sector has been produced from agriculture farms. Okay, but these emissions are poised to grow dramatically in the next several years because we all are trying to maximize our production because of the increasing population. So here it leads us to use fertilizers. But these emissions poised to grow dramatically. So if we are growing on the same trend, if India emulates China over the nitrogen fertilizers, because now China is 3.5 times larger in greenhouse gases emission than India. So we can surpass them by 2050, according to the FAO prediction. So it is very important that India needs to look into this climate resilience. So this is the chart and information given by the Climate Change, Agriculture and Food Security, CGIAR. So these are the trend of drought, heat wave, extreme rainfall, floods, sea level experience in different parts of the country. So this trend shows an upwelling from 2015. So it just it just spiked like anything. So we need to take into consideration seriously. So coming to the next point, we are very fortunate that India has launched different types of VKVK and SMS advisory in different parts of the state, excluding Mizoram. Okay, excluding Mizoram still, but in Mizoram they have field visit by the agriculture practitioners and from the rural development projects. We have focus project, this and that. Okay, so we have certain kind of projects. So what we can do in Aizawl or in different parts of agriculture patches like Champhai, Serchhip district, and in different parts of the southern section of the states, we need to put together the project, okay, into one strategy. And we have community ratio weather forecasting and hiring agriculture implements as well. So here we have very important things that are applicable in all states. We have NICRA in India. So here NICRA stands for National Innovations on Climate Resilience Agriculture. So here NICRA has different types of objectives, like it tries to enhance resilience in Indian agriculture, including the crop, livestock, and fisheries to climatic variability and to combat our climate change. So it also tries to demonstrate site-specific technology packages on farmers' field to cope with current climatic variability. And also it enhances to the capacity of scientific farmers and other stakeholders in climate resilience, agricultural research, and also to put awareness to the farmers as well. So how many minutes do I have? Okay, I think I am running out of time, so let me skip some of the slides.
Miss, it's okay. Take your time.
See, I got lots of slides, so let me skip some of it.
Please take your time. Don't be hurt.
Thank you so much. See, these are important projects in India which are still functioning right now in different states. So we have climate change adaptation in rural areas of India, CCARAI. So in the states of MP, Rajasthan, and all, and we have adopted climate smart villages, which is the subset of climate smart agriculture in the state of Haryana, Bihar, Punjab, and Maharashtra. And we have CCA, climate change adaptation, in major parts of the agricultural harnessing states like Maharashtra MP, Rajasthan, Telangana, AP, and all. So I will not go into detail. So one of the most successful project that I would like to highlight is the last one. Okay, here we have ACCUWA. So this act as a strategies and plans to action and promoting the adoption of climate change in urbanizing watersheds. So here in Tamil Nadu, it is very successful. Okay, coming to the Mizoram scenario, I think I should skip all this. Okay. Okay, coming to Northeast India. Okay, only one slide to Northeast India, then I'll move to Mizoram. As CSA is a kind of new thing, that's why I would like to introduce more detail on that. That's why I'm taking a longer time. So in Northeast India, agriculture is a key player, as we all know. So India as a mainstay of most of the people in northeastern region. However, environmental factors and climate change influence the production and productivity, as we know and experience. So all the existing agriculture crops and some important practices in Northeast region needs to be assessed with specific references, because if we don't have any types of good data, we cannot give a proper solution to it. So however, the existing stakeholders in the implementation of CSA combines with mitigation and adaptation of climate change results to propose of suitable strategies to accelerate. So coming to finally to Mizoram. So when we talk about Mizoram, we have different types of challenges, which I will go into a quick mode. So climate change have serious consequences since 1998, as we have observed, and it caused consequences on the abundance and diversity of insects. So it is very, life-threatening for the farmers, and the extent of losses due to insect pests, which will impact both food security and crop production since since the last 2 decades. And pest outbreaks occur more frequently than than the earlier times. So this extended the periods of drought, so late monsoon followed by heavy rainfall. So some of the composition that we have known are cowrie AI and all, maize, they are the worst suffer among the crops. Okay, and coming to liming, the priorities, okay, the priorities and challenges. So when we talk about liming, any agri lime such as slake lime, quick lime also sustain to kill pests, and then they are used, and the requirement is very high. So normally in other parts of India, they use 10 tons per hectare, okay, and which is difficult to buy for poor farmers. So furrow applications of lime is recommended by applying to achieve climate smart agriculture. And secondly, we have nutrient management. So under this nutrient management, soil test results with proper recommendations are required for better soil fertility. So the productivity of rice under wet rice cultivation is around 3.30 according to the Mizoram Academic Survey. So here, just by that figure, we can understand that real-time nutrient management, such as the use of color charts, are important, so that laymen can know the knowledge of the necessity. So next we have a minimum tillage, use of crop residues, and integrated farming system. So let me highlight this integrated farming system, IFS. So when we talk about integrated farming, it means most of the farmers are marginal farmers, as in the case of Mizoram. So integrating systems such as livestock, agriculture, and horticulture, crops, and fishery can be most promising, and it's very wise. So they don't have any types of zero profit season for them. So coming to the nutrient management, I have already talked. Actually, it's 50 minutes. Okay. Let me go into a quick mode. So see, let's have a view of this rice. This is the minor diseases reported from Champhai Valley. Okay, and this is a street rot of rice, and they are also correlated with early winter and high rainfall during the pinnacle formation. So while warming temperatures inhabit the pathogens of growth in other areas, so these types of problem arises. So transboundary plant diseases are suspected at the present value of Champhai of Mizoram, and they share, and they are very vulnerable because they share long porous boundary with our neighboring country Myanmar. So these blasts are very serious disease in Champhai agrarian circle. So rice blast disease results from the interaction between a virulent isolate of this pathogen. So a susceptible genotype in the presence of favorable ambient conditions are there. So we can see, if you can zoom from your devices, you will be able to see that there is a blackening of stem at water level, if you can see. So if you have a close-up view, or if you can zoom in, you can see the infected stem at Zautlang Champhai district, Mizoram. Okay, and coming to the conclusion, CSA brings together the practices and policies of institutions, as I have already told you, and if implementations are taken into consideration, farmers will possess low level of climate change. So we need to tell them the knowledge of the traditional methods which might mitigate the impact of climate change. So this is a very important thing that I need to highlight it, and extension functionaries are also required at large scale. So, and these are the strategies which I have prepared, which I thought it will be feasible for the climate smart agriculture practices in Mizoram. So to introduce integrated farming, mulching, water management, which are done by a minor irrigation. But see, this minor irrigation department doesn't cover every wet rice cultivation or every land. So we can use the natural gravity system of water management, which are abundantly found in the internet, YouTube and all. So we can use shade house, and we can have composting contour, crop diversity, rainwater harvesting. As we know, it's it's the lifeline of our agriculture. And here I would like to stress more on point number 8. See, if we can plant nitrogen fixing trees in and around, or as a lining on the corner of our rice fixation or rice area, or in any other types of our land, it will be very beneficial. So I hope this will have good impact, and it is very easily followable, so we can just follow. And number 9, here we have appropriate housing and spacing for livestock. So these are this veterinary department take this into consideration. So I hope we all are acquainted with these strategies, and we should improve the feeding strategies as well. So this is my last slides, excluding the thank you slides. Okay, so I would like to request the students of government Champhai College and the students of Shrang Bana College, if they are any, because now I know that they are having class and they are celebrating their seniors result right now. And I would like to challenge you that, there is very good writing, okay, PDF, just 1.5 page, which might take only 2 to 5 minutes to read. So this has been written by A.C. Zonunmoya, CEP. I don't know him personally, but I find his writings on climate smart agriculture in Envi's website. So he write in Mizo language, okay. So I got this PDF. So this is my email. So if you can email me, I will send you this PDF file so that you can forward to your contacts who are engaged in agriculture and its allied activities. So see, this is only around 400 words, I guess so, 1.5 page. It may not be, like many than that, okay. So if we can circulate this PDF, I hope that it will reach the agricultural household. So let's try to circulate this one. So I got this PDF. So if you are interested, okay, and I want you to be interested in this circulation, so you can just mail me and I will send you directly, and then let's circulate to different parts of the farmland so that we can make change and we can make climate smart happen. So let's make this this auspicious state level webinar on climate change lively and be active, and let's make it into function. So thank you so much, and so I will give back the platform to our wonderful host. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss, for your great presentation, beautiful presentation. And we are also very glad to have you here with us. So if anyone from the participants have any questions, please unmute yourself, and Miss is ready to answer your questions. Meanwhile, we are very thankful and very glad to have you, Miss, here. And also, your presentation was very resourceful, very informative. And also, it will help us for our further studies and teaching. So, I request all the participants to mail Miss Rameng Moi so that we can circulate what she has said about that PDF file. So if anyone want to ask questions, even in Mizo trong po khan azot he veka mi si ein ring reng ani ti kha shaila azot du kha chu lawin unmute zel ula zo na kha zot he ani. Okay, I hope it's clear. So thank you again, Miss. We really appreciate it. So thank you for accepting our request.
Thank you so much, Government Champhai College. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we are moving to our next resource person. There will be no break today, so we'll continue our program. Coming to our next resource person, Dr. Larimpuya Vangchia, with his topic, climate change in Mizoram. I would like to state a brief introduction about him again. He done his PhD in geography in 2018. He started his teaching career in geography and resource management in Mizoram University 3 years back and 2 years in Government Nathial College. His area of interest is in agriculture, health, and environment geography. His current occupation is assistant professor in Government Nathial College. He published 15 research papers. Some are science index journals such as Journal of Mountain Science, China, Current Science, India, Springer, Japan. He is now currently IQSC coordinator in Government Nathial College. He presents 20 papers on various national and international seminars, and one of them is in China in 2018. He also completed 2 weeks international training course on mountain hazards at China, organized by Chinese Academy of Science 2018. He has done project work like ICSSR major project research assistant in the year 2014 to 2016 and project consultant on NABARD consultancy NAPCON in the year 2018 to 2019. His ongoing project is quality analyst at Project Simbal, APYE sponsored international project 2021. He is also facilitator at Asia Pacific Youth Exchange APYE India 2020. Okay, are you there, sir? Okay, we'll invite Dr. Larimpuya Vangchia to present his topic, climate change in Mizoram. And also, I request all the participants to listen it carefully. And if we have any queries, we can ask him after his presentation. So, sir, take your time. Sir, you are already in co-host, so you can start your presentation.
Okay. Uh, Thank you, Miss, for your introduction, a smart introduction. So I am very happy to be here as a resource person in the state level webinar on uh, Mizoram, bring a concern of climate change, bring concern of Mizoram, organized by government, Champhai College. So I think I will go through my slide. And my topic today, my topic is climate change in agriculture in Mizoram. I think I am audible for the presentation. If First of all, some technical issues we are having in here. The power supply is not here and there, and also signal, internet signal is also very poor, and it is going and coming like this. But I'll try my best in the presentation on climate change and agriculture in Mizoram. So I'll do like this. I'll not go through the meaning definition like that. Our resource person already explained very clear. So climate change, I will do. Uh, is there any change of climate in the three components like rainfall, temperature, and humidity during the 3 decades? That is 30 years. It will start from to 1986. It is our statehood, 1986 to 2015. Firstly, and secondly, I will go through productivity, crop productivity of the state, uh, 1999 to 2019. That is the next subject. And afterward, I'll compare climate change and agriculture productivity of some major crops. And then the fourth subject will be a case study of impact of climate change on crop productivity. A case study of one minor case. It is one village. So first of all, this is the annual average rainfall during the 30 years. That is 2000. 1986 to 2015. So annual rainfall, I think some problem in my slide. I'll do it again. Please excuse me. This is, oh, yeah, okay. Uh, my, yeah, yeah, due power supply may have come, so that's why some interruption is there. I think it. Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more. I'll try to full screen. Okay. My full screen is pause.
So we can see it. It's visible.
Wait, please. I I lost my screen from here, so that's why okay.
Okay, take your time, sir.
Okay, no problem. This in my laptop also some problem. I'll carry on. Okay, now can you see? I'll not go in full screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So this is the one information is please move this window away from the share application. It has come this message. Okay. It hides some picture of my slide to me, so that's why I'm a little bit worried. So annual rainfall change. This is from the 3 decades. I have calculated the average change of annual rainfall in every decade. That is, the first decade is 1986 to 1995. So if we are looking this picture, we can see minus 5.47. So it means that annual average rainfall in the first decade was decreased by minus 5.4 millimeter. So next is 1996 to 2005. It was decreased highly than the previous decades, that is minus 43.29. And the third decade, 2006 to 2015, we have minus 19.34. So it means that in every decade of the 30 years, the rainfall, the annual rainfall is of Mizoram is decreasing. And the next one is maximum temperature average during the 30 years. It means that we don't find the average temperature. It must be average temperature, but anyway, we can take maximum temperature as one indicator. Sorry. So this is the annual temperature change in Celsius degree during the 3 decades. The first decade, we have seen that 0.04 increasing. So we can say that during the first decade of the 30 years, we have increasing maximum annual temperature by 0.04%. But in the next decades, that is 1996 to 2005, the annual temperature, average annual temperature is was also decreasing by 0.11 Celsius degree. And the third decade, that is 2006 to 2015, it was also decreasing by minus 0.33. So next we'll go through average annual humidity of the same 30 years. We can see that humidity is increasing was increased in the first decades by 0.5%. That is, humidity is percent, calculated in a person. And the next decade is 1996 to 2005. It was again increased by 0.02, but the increasing rate was declined. And in the last decade, that is 2006 to 2015, it was found like decreasing. So for humidity of Mizoram during the 3 decades, we can see that the declining trends in the every year. That is, I calculated like this. Uh, for the first decade, I took average annual humidity changes uh, of every year within 1986 to 1995, like that all the decades I have calculated. Sometimes we compare the first and the last year only, but now I calculate all the average value of every year. So I think the result is uh, very accurate, I think, and I hope. So climate change, overall climate change in Mizoram during 1986 to 2015, that is 30 years. I'm taking 30 years because if, as you already know that to say a climate change, it may need at least 3 decades, 30 years. So we can see from the table, the first decade, annual change of rainfall was minus 5.47, and in the second decade minus 43.29, and the third decade minus 19.34, and the overall change from the whole decade was minus 22.70. It means that in Mizoram, the annual average rainfall is decreasing during the 30 years by 22.7 millimeter, and maximum temperature is also decreasing by minus 0.13, but it is very less. The decreasing rate is very low, and annual humidity is increasing during the 30 years by 0.10. This is the data taken and calculated from Agriculture Abstract, Statistical Handbook, Met Department of Mizoram, and Economic Survey of Mizoram 20 to 21. Also, I'm taking this relevant data. And now I'm just highlighting the recent change of climate in Mizoram from 1986 to 2019. We can see that annual average rainfall during this is 33 years. I add some recent years. The change is minus 13.17, that is 0.02%. For the 32 years, including the recent years, rainfall, average annual rainfall is decreasing by 0.02%, and temperature is decreasing by 0.01 Celsius, that is 0.0015%. We may say that temperature, we may think before this presentation, I think we are hoping that temperature is increasing, but in the data shows that temperature also decreasing, but very minimum, and average humidity is increasing by 0.01%. So I think you may have some question about how temperature is decreasing, but yeah, we may discuss later on. And yeah, this is as I said that by comparing the 1 year and the first year and the last year. It means that our statehood 1986 and our present, we can say our present 2019 data. If we compare the first and the present year data, rainfall is changed by 16.55%. It is decreasing, but yeah, here if we jump over every year annual average temperature by comparing only the first and the last year, it is increasing by 1.08%. And average humidity also increasing higher than the previous one, 7.83%. So something based the way we are calculating is very important. It may shows that if we compare only the first year and the last year of some decades or some time period, it may be different with if we are taking an annual average difference of every year within that decade, the result will be a difference. So that is climate change about Mizoram. We can say that normally annual rainfall is decreasing, temperature is not changing very high, and humidity is also increasing, we can say that. So now climate change and agriculture in Mizoram. For this agriculture, I am only taking agriculture productivity, and the year also it is our one of the backward of our research, because I'm not find 1986 data of agriculture productivity in Mizoram. So I find only 1999 to 2020 agriculture productivity. So, but it is almost uh, reaching the 2.5 decades. So I'll uh, do it like this: 1999 to 2020. The year is so much sufficient to measure agriculture productivity. It is not a climate, so a productivity we can rely on this data, I think. So if we see the picture in the blue one is rice productivity, that is kg per hectare, and the red one is annual average rainfall in millimeter. We can see that the highest rice production productivity found in 2019 to 2020. We can see that this is shifting cultivation and WRC and all the combination of the rice production. That is, we can see whenever the rice production is high, the rainfall is not so high. We can see that, and not so less. It is whenever it is moderate, uh, rice productivity is always high. In 2012 to 2013, rainfall is high and uh, rice production is very low, and 2007 to 2008, rainfall is also very high, but the rice productivity is very low. Here in 2007 to 2008, we are facing a bamboo flower, as we all know. But in the 2006 to 2007, when the rainfall is high enough, but the rice productivity is not so high, it means that it may be that rainfall do not affect rice productivity. We'll see. And temperature and rice productivity is, oh, I'll skip this one. In the correlation value, we'll see this rice productivity and climatic condition of three components, that is rainfall, temperature, and humidity. So we can see that rainfall relationship or rice productivity relationship with rainfall, temperature, and humidity. Here, rainfall and rice productivity is related by minus 0.304. It means that there is a negative low relationship between rice productivity and amount of rainfall. It means that whenever rainfall is low, rice productivity is high, but it is not highly correlated. We can say that there is a very low relationship between them. Even in a low relationship, it is negative relationship. It means if the amount of rainfall is too high, rice productivity will be decreased like this. And temperature have a positive relationship, a positive low, very low positive relationship between rice productivity and temperature. It means that 0.08. If the temperature is increasing, rice production is increasing, but not in a very high degree. So it means that global warming, temperature increasing is supportive for productivity of rice. And then humidity. Here also a low positive relationship. We have find 0.259. Like in the temperature, humidity supports rice productivity in Mizoram 1919 to 2020. And now, I'm going through some major agricultural crops. The first one was rice, and now maize productivity and climate condition. Maize productivity also have a negative relationship with amount of rainfall, that is minus 0.305, and it have positive relationship with temperature, very low positive 0.068, and humidity also a low positive relationship. For maize productivity, we can see that climate, if we are looking climate in the three components only, that is rainfall, temperature, and humidity, do not affect largely the maize productivity, but some effect is there. Rainfall negative relationship, temperature positive, and humidity positive. And the pulses have rainfall negative relationship with rainfall, pulses is having, and temperature also negative, and humidity also negative. Here we can see that pulses productivity of the during the period 1999 to 2020. It may rainfall, whenever the rainfall is less, pulse productivity is increasing, temperature and humidity and so on. So it means for pulses, rainfall, temperature, and humidity is too high in Mizoram during the period. And oil seeds. For oil seeds, we have a very high relationship between climate condition and oil seeds productivity of Mizoram. For rainfall, annual rainfall, oil seeds have a very high, we can say that a very high negative relationship, that is minus 0.6. It means that if the rainfall is increasing, oil seeds productivity is decreasing. And again, into temperature, a high negative relationship minus 0.5, and humidity a low negative relationship. And potato, for potato we have a low negative relationship with a climatic condition with rainfall, and a low positive relationship with temperature, and a very low negative relationship with humidity. So productivity change. How the productivity was changed every year within 1999 to 2020. That is, as I have mentioned, that I calculate all the year difference within this period of time, and I took average and I calculate the change in average. So the productivity change we considered for rice, the productivity was changed by increasing way, that is 0.15%, and maize was also increased by 0.15%, and pulses was decreased by 0.13%. Oilseeds was increased by 0.09%. Sugarcane was increased by 1.02, and potato was increased by 0.62. So some think we are saying that agriculture productivity is low in Mizoram, but it is still most of the major agriculture crops have showing the increasing patterns, but it is not so high. Productivity is need to be improved. So climate change and productivity change. We just compare the climate change of that 1999 to 2020 and the productivity change of the same year. It is the relationship value, the correlation value, R value, we can say that. So rise and rainfall during this period is related with minus 0.42, and rise and temperature positive 0.07, and humidity minus 0.18. And maize have a high negative relationship with rainfall, low negative relationship with temperature, and low negative relationship with humidity. And pulses have a low relationship with rainfall, temperature, and humidity. For oil seeds, we can see a high negative relationship with rainfall, low negative relationship with temperature, and a low relationship with humidity negatively. Sugarcane, we have a very low negative relationship with rainfall, low positive relationship with temperature, and very low positive relationship with humidity. For sugarcane, a low negative relationship with rainfall, and low positive relationship with temperature and humidity. So now we will go to the case study of my minor study area. That is my village. This is the location of my village, that is Tualcheng. It is in Champhai district. Through this method, I have surveyed during the year 2004 and 2014, only 1 decade. And primary data and secondary data I have used, and 60% household I have surveyed. Based on that, I take this climate change data. Climate change data I have taken like 2004 was all data was approximately uh, measured by some villager through thermometer in the uh, sub center like this. And 2014 I have measured all this on the spot, and so I have measured that change, the climate change of the 1 decade in that village. So I have taken this climate change because I want to compare the climate change and crop productivity of that village, because we our data having is for whole Mizoram is very general. Actually, we can say that. So one village, at least one village or one district, even one district is very difficult to have climatic data, as we all know. So that's why at least one village and at least 1 decade, if we can see, it may predict some region or some parts of Mizoram. So in our village, some people is experiencing that rice productivity is increasing, and the climate temperature is also increasing. They are believing. So I have proof this opinion through survey 2004 to 2014. So the temperature was changed increased by 4.76. Rainfall was decreased again by 0.95 percent, and humidity was increased by 4%. And I took this uh, every crops regularly growing in the agriculture field, like rice, maize, soybean, tomato, mustard leaf, beans, bitterberry, eggplant, bitter gourd, lady's finger, chili, potato, tobacco, yam, grapes, banana, orange, and ginger. So I have measured the productivity of 2004 and 2014. I have calculated the change in the actual and in percentage. So we can see in the from the table for rice, the productivity during the period was increased by 9.19%. Maize was also increased by 83.05%. Soybean was also increased by 3.23%. Tomato was increased by 15.1998%. Mustard leaf was increased by 9.22. But here we have seen the decreasing trends of productivity. For beans, productivity was decreased by 7.96%, bitterberry 3.09%, eggplant 6.87%. For bitter gourd, it was increased by 4.76%, lady's finger 0.43%, chili is very highly increased, that is 66.67% productivity. Okay, that is not the actual production, it is a productivity, that is production per hectare, kg per hectare. Potato was increased by 8.09%, tobacco by 8.50, yam by 5.88, and grapes. So yeah, in our village, grapes was at during that times, grape was one of the big major fruits growing in the village. So it was increased by 100%, and banana was increased by 6.54%. Orange was decreased by 100%. It means that orange was not so much growing, and it cannot be harvested properly and so that's why every farmer leave that orange cultivation, and ginger was increased by 83.01%. So this is the productivity change during the 1 decade of the uh, study area. And productivity change, we can see that from the figure. And climate change, we can compare with climate change of the village with their crop productivity. So it is sometimes it is negative. I think temperature have a perfect positive correlation with rise. It means that increasing temperature is uh, supportive, very good for rise productivity. Again, humidity also, but rainfall and rise as the presented in the whole state of Mizoram. The village is also experiencing the same thing. That is, rainfall and rise have a negative relationship. Uh, from here, we can see that rainfall usually have a negative relationship with the agriculture crop production, but here we have a positive relationship with beans, eggplant, bitterberry, and here banana. Only beside this, all that agriculture crops have a negative relationship with rainfall. It means that our rainfall, annual rainfall, is too much uh, for attaining a high productivity of crops. And temperature, I think we are uh, complaining about the temperature, the global warming in Mizoram, but from the village we can see is that temperature increasing is we can say a blessing, or yeah, it is a uh, positive condition which help agriculture productivity. If we think agriculture productivity only, then global warming is uh, very supportive for us. And humidity also, humidity is always having a positive relationship with these major agriculture crops in the village. Uh, so that's why increasing humidity is good for uh, agriculture productivity. So we can say that from that point, climate change means that rainfall, temperature, and humidity uh, change is good in a one way. That is, warming up of the environment is uh, good for helping for crop production. Huge amount of rainfall
Maybe sir have a problem in internet connection. Okay, he's here again. Sir, unmute your audio, please.
Okay. So uh, we can see that from the previous resource person how why rainfall is decreasing, at the same time why temperature is increasing, and humidity is increasing. I'm not going through that topic. So, but how it affects the productivity of crops. I'm not saying also how it affects the human beings and animals, but I'm concentrating only agriculture crops. So global warming, increasing temperature is good for productivity, increasing productivity of crops, we can say, and decreasing rainfall. I think the rainfall variation distribution, or monthly waste distribution, may be very important, because even it is not highly as taking into whole year, but some months may have a high amount of rainfall, and sometimes if the rainfall come to the harvesting season, so it may uh, affects the productivity, the production. So that's why decreasing rainfall is also not a problem if we are uh, talking about productivity of crops only. So, and humidity increasing is also good and not a problem for productivity of crops. So that is my finding for that case study in the one village. And now, for my conclusion, climate change during the 30 decades, we can see again, is it climate? Is climate change is found in Mizoram? So we can see rainfall and temperature is decreasing for the 3 decades, that is 1986 to 2015. But if we are comparing to the 1986 and 2019, temperature was increased, rainfall is decreasing, and humidity is increasing. So this is the patterns of climate change in Mizoram we can have from the government record. So I think that's all I can present with the topic climate change and agriculture in Mizoram. And I think if a question is there, we can discuss. And before that, we may think that productivity, we may want to leave a shifting cultivation, and we may choose only the wet rice cultivation. We may prefer SRI agriculture. And any problem, this is not my uh, decision. It is not my opinion. It is from the government records. I just have calculated all this climate change and agricultural productivity. I think some points I am not also not likely to accept, or some parts are surprising me about the relationship between rainfall, temperature, humidity, and crop productivity. So we can say that increasing temperature is uh, a blessing for crop productivity, but rainfall is too much for the agriculture production, and increasing humidity is also good for crop production in Mizoram. So thank you. I'll end my presentation here. Thank you. Is there any discussion? We can go on. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for giving us a great presentation. And you did a very great job in collecting data, which is very updated for us. So if there anyone who want to ask questions from the participants, please unmute yourself and ask the questions. Cut off the day video. Okay, I hope it's all clear about climate change in Mizoram. So we again give thanks to our two resource persons, Ms. Moite and Sarin Puya. We wish you the very best for your upcoming career. And also, sir, we thank you for accepting our request for this webinar. So we wish you the very best for your upcoming career. So this concludes today's session. Thank you all for attending.